Some objects are just things. They're wood or paper or metal. They sit on a shelf, gather dust, and hold little more than a passing curiosity. And then there are the other kind, the objects that hold ghosts. The ones that are steeped in memory, love, and loss, carrying the last whispers of someone who is no longer with us. On a sun-drenched day in Finchley, as the beloved BBC Antiques Roadshow set up camp, one such object emerged from a simple bag, ready to tell a story that would leave its owner, and everyone watching breathless. It's a scene we've all dreamed of, isn't it? Unearthing some forgotten trinket from the attic, taking it along to the show on a whim, and discovering you're the custodian of a small fortune. For one woman, accompanied by her supportive son, this was no daydream. But for her, it was never about the money. It was about a final, poignant connection to the man she loved and lost. She approached the table of specialist Fuchsia Voremberg with a heavy, leather-bound book clutched in her hands. The book itself seemed to exhale history. Its cover was worn smooth by time and countless hands, its pages yellowed by centuries of sunlight and sea salt. As Voremberg took the tome, a hush seemed to fall over their small corner of the bustling set. "So it's a warm day here in London," Fuchsia began, her voice filled with a genuine sense of wonder. "But as you pulled this beautiful 18th century logbook out of your bag, I felt the shiver of a sea breeze run over me. It was the perfect opening for a journey back in time." The story behind the book was as compelling as the object itself. The woman's voice was soft, tinged with the unmistakable ache of recent grief as she explained its origins. "It was found in the attic of my partner's house near London," she shared. Her partner, a man clearly fascinated by history, had discovered it and treasured it. They brought it with them when they moved to North Devon to begin their retirement, a new chapter in their lives. But then, in the chaos of moving and unpacking, the book vanished. It became a household mystery, a source of gentle frustration. The book got mislaid and we couldn't find it in the house. Tragically, life took an unbearable turn. "Sadly, he passed away last year," she said, her son placing a comforting hand on her arm. In the quiet, hollow days that followed, while sorting through a lifetime of memories, a discovery was made. A further search, we found this book. The words hung in the air, thick with unspoken emotion. The very thing he had been so keen to explore had reappeared only after he was gone. Her son picked up the thread of the story, his expression reflecting the bittersweet nature of their quest. He was really interested in the book, and it was sad he didn't have the opportunity to do it, he explained. "So we just wanted to make sure that we found out more about it." This visit to the Antiques Roadshow wasn't just a valuation, it was a mission. It was about finishing a chapter for the man who couldn't. Fuchsia Voremberg, handling the book with the reverence it deserved, began to peel back the layers of time. She revealed it wasn't just any old maritime record. This was the official logbook for a vessel named the Triton, and it sailed under the flag of the infamous East India Company. She called the company a massive private enterprise, a statement that barely scratches the surface. This was a corporation that acted like a nation, with its own army, its own territory, and a power that shaped the course of global history. The logbook, she explained, was the ship's diary. A logbook records essentially the weather, any particular instances that happen on the ship, and gives you a kind of general sense of the daily happenings. But the period it chronicled, the late 18th century, was anything but ordinary. "We're in what we now know as the Age of Revolution," Fuchsia noted. The world was a tinderbox of conflict. As the Triton navigated the treacherous waters of the South Atlantic, the Indian Ocean, and the China Sea, it was constantly sailing through a theater of war, encountering enemy vessels at every turn. But beyond the grand sweep of history, Fuchsia drew them into the intimate, often brutal, human experience. "One of the things that I think it's important to remember is the experience of a sailor on board a ship like this," she said, her tone growing more somber. "I think it was a really, really hard life." To prove her point, she turned to a specific entry from 1793. With a delicate finger, she traced the spidery, ink-brown script and read aloud. The log detailed how a man named Samuel Adams was confined for drunkenness and making a disturbance on the orlop deck. Suddenly, this wasn't just a historical document, it was a window into a real man's very bad day, over 2 centuries ago. Then she guided them to an even darker chapter. Another entry described in the stark and formal language of the sea.